here's a few things that I want to share. And these are my opinions. My opinions, for the most part, are up to being changed, but I don't necessarily think that I form opinions that I really believe in if I don't think that they're true. I mean, like, I think that my opinions, they can always change if I learn more, but normally my opinions are there because of a reason. You're right. It's a bonnet. What's up, Lay? But yeah, anyways, what a crazy world that we live in. Um, a lot of the times, sorry, I'm not gonna play that. I don't know how to play that. Thanks for the suggestion, though. Cheese Harry. Why is your cheese hairy, bro? But no, seriously, there's a lot of crazy things in the world that I have had an opinion about. One of them is division feeds corruption. That opinion that I have is, I don't think that that's going to change. It might, maybe somebody could change my mind, but left and right, all this political shit, it's not doing much but dividing. And yeah, it's feeding corruption. I think that both sides in a dualistic perspective have pros and cons. And I think that it's being used to separate people. I think that if we could see through that and understand that we have more in common than we have, not in common, that we will eventually be united enough to watch corruption disappear. Corruption might not be the right term, but like this disease, this sickness. And I think people are just so hungry for that division and stuff like that, and almost like how children want sugar, it's just like it's bad for you. It's especially bad for you when you have too much of it. It's like kind of it's kind of weaponized. People have definitely been tuned to want what's bad for them. And yeah, my opinion in that is, as we see through that and come together, we will witness true health. What's up, Brendan Bob? But yeah, if there's ever something that I believe in, it's always up to change. There's certain things like I want to see the truth, and I'm alright with knowing that what I know and what I hold as opinions might not be the truth. Um, and I'm willing to learn. Like as life teaches me, I'm willing to learn. So yeah, when it comes to the whole political spectrum of the U.S. and of the world, I think there's a lot of good and bad on both sides. I try to stay with the mindset though of we're all one. I don't believe that boundaries, like, we have state lines and territories and stuff like that. Like, I don't think that we would live in a world where there's not like healthy boundaries, and I think that that has positives, but I also think that these imaginary lines on the ground, they are dividing more than uniting, you know, like the United States of America, for example, United States. You would think every single state is united, right? What are we united under? Are we united under division? If I cross this imaginary line from state to state, all of a sudden laws change, all of a sudden all these things change, and ideologies are different, and you know, like, that's fine that people have differences, but I'm just curious as why are we united and have these invisible boundaries that divide? And how come in the division of all of it, you know, my stance is very outside of it. I'm not within this two-party thing. Like, I don't really choose either side, but my question is, how come one side wants to just destroy the other side, no matter what side you're on? You know, like, true united qualities. If the United States was truly gonna be united, I don't think you would have to destroy another person to do that. I think that we collectively have a big wake up call in front of our faces right now. And it's to see where we can unite. I think a lot of the things too that people can unite about are the same sort of things. And right now it's it's drawing together a lot of people who might not have ever seen eye to eye. And that's my opinion of it. You know, some people still will not see eye to eye. But some of the stuff that's supposed to be uniting us, that's continuing to divide, is showing how bad it is at uniting. You know, it's like saying, take a pair of scissors and cut a piece of paper into making that piece of paper one piece of paper. You know, it's like the more you cut, the more it comes into multiple pieces, and it's not really, like, it doesn't make sense. So when I see all these things, you know, like people who, are just dividing the president's a joke to me. Fuck Donald Trump. I don't think that he deserves nearly as much credit as the world is giving him, and I think we should just totally ignore that guy. I think that there's a lot of military who's pissed off at him, and I think that this whole leadership is a joke because of how dividing it is. I don't necessarily think that the world needs a leader that's going to divide, but I also don't think that the world doesn't need leaders. Yeah. Also, when it comes to, that's not a bonnet, right? This is covering my hair. This is a bonnet, I think. I don't know. I don't know exactly what to say. I like to see it as my crown. Yo, yo, what's good? But yeah, like I'm saying, I think people need leaders. I think leadership is important. I think leadership is important for uniting. And I think that what's going on right now is we're watching people in roles of leadership divide, and that's just kind of sad in my opinion. But like I was saying, the more the world gets to see these sort of things, the more hypocritical it actually is. The more hypocritical it is, more people can come together because we see it for what it is. You know, anything that's hiding under a lie eventually will be shown in the light. And I think, yeah, this whole system has definitely been feeding off of the division, and in a beautiful way, the division is actually uniting a lot of people in a way that wasn't anticipated. I don't think. I think a lot of the stuff that we can come together on and find a common ground with has nothing to do with what the right or the left and all that stuff is actually like preaching to divide on. Like, we're more connected and we're more similar with each other than we are different, regardless of if we speak the same language or have the same culture. Like, there's a lot of hypocrisy in the world. But yeah. Also too, I guess what just came to my mind is like religious view, and it's pretty deep to me to think that there's people who are quote unquote religious and they praise a God that they believe cares and loves everybody, Like, I think with this whole stuff going on in New York, where the new mayor is a Muslim, and like a lot of people are like freaking out saying that he's gonna support like another 9/11 and things like that. Like, they are coming from a religious viewpoint. Most of the people who are opposing that are like they're against someone in leadership being a Muslim, but they're pro someone Christian being in that leadership position. When Christianity is based off of what Jesus was about. Like, Jesus wanted people to love our neighbors. Jesus wanted people to feed people and to forgive. And, it's like these people who are like Christians who are mad at a Muslim being the mayor. It's like, where's your forgiveness? Especially if you're going to throw 9/11 in the face of a Muslim. Where's the forgiveness? Also, knowing that there are many, many Muslim Americans, where's the love for your neighbor? It's almost as if Christianity or others hated so much the others that now they're afraid of repercussion, as if they didn't forgive anything and they don't expect to be forgiven, yet they believe that their God forgives. See that stuff right there? It's like, it's showing the truth, the hypocrisy of it. The truth is coming through it. And I'm not saying one religion is better than the other. I believe that there's many different perspectives on God, and I think that God is above all of humanity when it comes to that. Like, if you really think that one is right in the human perspective, that's like saying you know more than God. And I'm not saying that like you have to believe in God, but like for me, like I do believe in God. I'm not gonna think that I'm better than that though, and that I know more than that, and that my perspective is right. I think that there's certain things that like I said this in the beginning of this. I will change my opinion if I learn that that opinion isn't the truth, you know? Like one of my opinions is that love is stronger than hate, and that love is a super powerful force that triumphs over evil. That's my opinion. I don't think somebody's going to change that opinion because, I haven't seen something evil be more powerful than love and move me in a way that's more powerful than love has. Um, and it's okay that like others have different opinions. Like I totally agree with everyone having their opinion. My opinions weren't always that. There was a time where I was like thinking that you have to do evil things in this world to get by and shit like that. Like I see all the celebrities and I'm like, they have way too much influence over all of these people, and I thought that that was given to them because of evil deeds. Maybe I'm wrong. What's done in the dark will be brought to the light, and the truth will set us free. We are all one under Jah, one love. Jah, yes. Haile Selassie. Yeah. Also, too, though, I want to say that like religion, culture, ethnicity, all of these things that we could find division in and that we have seen used to divide people in the past. Um, it has a flip side to the coin, and I think that we can be brought together by that. For example, like I'm pretty sure everyone eats food. I pray to God that everybody gets food. I know there's people starving, but um, the people who are on one side of the world or on the complete other side of the world, regardless of what they eat, they're built with the same ingredients. Like salt. You're probably gonna put some salt on your food, in your food when you're cooking it. Vegetables, meats, grains, these sort of things are like, like even if you make one dish over here where it's like curry and it's more Asian influenced, and then you have something that's, like burritos or something, it's like you have like naan, and then you have like tortillas, and then you have bread, and then you have all these like flatbreads, and it's like all of them are their own thing, but yet they're the same stuff. They're built with flour and they're made with like the same elements. People, we've been divided by religion. We've been divided so much, and it's like, okay, I've seen it divide us. Yeah, somebody could say, look, that person's skin color, that person's religion, that person's culture, that's why we're different. But we also have a culture. Other people aren't the only ones with like white people, I feel like, have definitely colonized in the past, but like culture, there's still culture there. It's almost like, regardless of the skin color, you got pink flesh underneath, you got red blood, you got white bones, like these sort of things. We have more of those in common, and it just goes to show, like, it doesn't matter where you are on the world or what the circumstances are, like with the lies that are around. we have more that can bring us close together. You can say, wow, I didn't really think about it, but like these people are just like me in a way, or I'm just like them in a way. And I think that like really scares the shit out of anybody who's trying to continue the mission of dividing people. I think when people see that their division is not working, they get scared. And I don't think that they're scared just for any old reason. I think it's because you can't have you can't have somebody underneath you when we're all equal. You can't have somebody to inflate your ego, like all the people who are giving Donald Trump any credit, like if everyone treated him like somebody who is just cuckoo and just crazy, and like there's people you probably see on the street that have had a very rough life, that have had no help, no support, that have had addiction problems because of managing their emotions and their stress or mental health. And I'm pretty sure that most people, when they look at that, they just think, wow, what a shame. And they shake their head. And, maybe there's some people who are like, wow, I feel bad for that person. I want to help them out. Maybe some of those people say, damn, I know I've been there. I know what that feels like. And, like maybe if we treated Donald Trump that way, people could say, wow, like, it's like, I would rather personally help out the people in the street and figure out how to help them get houses, right? I want to see them on an equal level. I don't think Donald Trump gives a shit about that. Matter of fact, it's not just even about Donald Trump. I don't think most politicians that are this public facing as Donald Trump care enough about people being equal. Like, when you are making people underneath you that do what you say and make them feel less than you, and if you're doing that through dividing people, then we give power away to that. If somebody wants to put someone lower, and I think like if we didn't give that to those people who want to see division create the separation between equality and unity in between people, like we wouldn't have so many people suffering. Like mental health, there's plenty of reasons why mental health might be in decline. I don't really think that it's just one reason or another. Like I think a lot of people like to think mental illness comes from being dropped on your head as a kid. Maybe that is one reason, but like everyone gets close to that point where they just have one of those days and they don't really have what it takes for them to handle that situation appropriately. I don't think anybody just goes and starts pounding alcohol and chain smoking nicotine or any other thing, or somebody goes out and tries to find some oxys and some pain pills and shit like that. I don't think people go to that extent if they could handle their situation around them, But when you feel like you can't, when you feel like you're less equal, I think it's pretty easy to just say, you know what? I'm going to drink myself stupid. I'm going to smoke myself till I die. I'm going to pop these pills and numb the pain and stop thinking about it. But like somebody who's treated equal, I don't think that they would really care to do any of those things to themselves. You know, some people might really need more help. Some people might be in their situation because they have a mixture of things coming at them at once, like financial reasons, relationship reasons, and how they grew up, um, what traumas they've been exposed to. There's so many different issues that could lead somebody to needing more help, you know? Some people, myself included, I remember I would think, I don't trust anybody, I can't trust anybody. Well, if I can't trust anybody and I have to be around people and I have to live this life, I'm just gonna drink. Because if I'm drunk, then at least I'm drunk. And I don't need to trust somebody when I'm drunk, you know? Like if I'm intoxicating myself to the point where I don't even really have the same thoughts as I have soberly, then of course, like, you know, like drinking seemed like a good option. If I couldn't trust anybody, drinking seemed like the great option. I'm like, I have things that I wish to tell other people that I don't feel comfortable with. Like I cannot trust people because of trauma. Well, what do you do in that situation? You know? Now think, let's say you have multiple different aspects coming together to create your stress, you know, like let's say you have a lot of traumatic things, you know, some people who come back from war and they've seen people die in front of them and they've killed people and they have sleepless nights, you know? Like that's one reason enough to drink and smoke. You might feel like, fuck, I want to get this out of my head. But then also on top of that, let's say you're now homeless because you can't keep a job because you're drinking. So now you have two things. And then thirdly, like on top of that, you might say, I'm trying to find help, but there's not help out there. For veterans around the world, there's somebody said a statistic, there's 22 veterans a day that are taking their own life. 22 veterans in the United States alone a day taking their own life. Why would anybody be pushed to that limit? Why would anybody be pushed to that limit? You know, these are rhetorical questions. I'm not asking you to like actually answer them, but like, you know, if you ask yourself that, why would you might go to that point? You know, I hope nobody ever gets to that point where they feel like they have to do that. But like to have that thought and say, you know, it would only maybe take this, and this to happen. Because we're all really that close away from it. Some people, and like I said too, you know, I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. There are people who they have their influence and their power because of what others have given to them. And other people might have given them this stuff because they were being divided and they didn't know that they were being divided. You know, let's say a veteran, before they have the PTSD, they might be like, I want to fight for my country. And that's fine. People can have that feeling and want to do something good for their community, and maybe that's what they think they can do. So they go and fight for their country. And then after they come back with PTSD, after trauma, like severe trauma that affects their whole life, they might think, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have given my power to that for these results, knowing that now I have all of this to deal with. The president, though, if let's say he riled up all the people to go fight for him on his behalf for money, that is, you know, like, that's his stance. And then all the people who say, yeah, you know, let's go do that, let's do that, and then afterwards they're not treated fairly and they're not given adequate care. In my opinion, I think when we're all equal already, we're not gonna jump on board to do something that we will regret later. What's up? Hey, what's up, brother? Shout out. Hey, I'm gonna see if you're alive later too. I'll go check your live out, brother. What's up? I'm just talking right now. But hey, while you're here, I might as well I'll freestyle rap for you if you want. I'll freestyle. I love when I go through and I see you freestyling. That's what's up. But but yeah, let me just finish this little thought up. I think that people, if we're all treating each other equally and we're all on this equal plane, united, not divided, but united, I think that we won't jump into something that we regret later because we're all on that same level. You know, right now I think a lot of the politicians and a lot of the law is like very one-sided. It's for hey, thank you, bro. I think it's I think it's built for someone to come out on top of, which to me it shows that there's like sickness and we need to address that. Um, you know, the opposite of sickness would be health. I think if division is sick, then united is healed. And it's like I that's my whole goal in life, really. That's my whole goal in life. All right, I'm gonna make a quick little something. Despite our skin color or our religion, we are all human beings. We are all family. Exactly. I was just saying that. I was saying, like a lot of the tactics that have been used to divide have been culture and has been, religion and things like that. But the more I see it, they can be used to divide, but really it's stronger to unite us, like let's say we all are hungry and there's a person from every country all in one room. Like there's many meals that can be made out of the same ingredients. And that's what humanity is. We're all flesh and blood. We have spirit too, but like the flesh and blood is it's something to unite us on. It's something that we can like be together with. Be like, man, like even though I got this skin color or I have this religious background or I have this, then these people over there, they have different, but we're all still together. We're all still family. Yes. Very, very well said. Okay, let me see here. All right. I'm gonna make a little something. Maybe something like that. I don't know. It's weird. It's like every time I put it on the looper, it sounds a little bit more repetitive than I like. But honestly, I'll bust a quick freestyle. I didn't plan on being on here for more than 30 minutes, so I'll probably get off after this freestyle. But yeah, let's do a little loop. I don't have the endurance to be live streaming as long as you. That's for sure. I know you got those long you have like pretty long live streams, and I'm like, man, that's dope. But honestly, you seem like a super happy guy. And I know that life, I think I saw the video of you singing a song at a funeral. And it's like, I know that there's a lot of stuff that happens to all of us. But when I saw that, I was like, man, it literally, I was like, just to know that like you're still happy and positive meant so much to me. And yeah, I want to say that like it makes sense how you got that endurance to like keep going. Cause like me too, like I try to be happy, but like honestly, a lot of the stuff gets to me, and I guess like I internalize that. But anyways, yeah, here we go. quick little freestyle. We're all connected, we're all alive. Until we die, try to live it right. What's wrong? What's left? I don't see anything but steps on this path to unity. Beautifully, you and me, we could do this thing. No matter the goal, all is possible. No obstacle that we can't overcome. I do this from my heart. I fill my lungs with air to speak some art because I care, and it might be rare, but I try to make it well. Cooking this pressure, it's cooking in my mental. It's making treasure essential for the progress. I'm tired of the nonsense. I turned off the television years ago, and now I hear my own soul. It's been speaking, it's been whispering, it's been teaching, it's been cherishing, it's been there, and it'll be there again. Prepare for what's to come as we walk into the light. I have so many thoughts that I don't know how to say, and that's alright, 'cause it comes out eventually, just like the little seed that had to grow through the dirt just to reach a little bit of sunlight and spreading its leaves and spreading its awareness, this consciousness. No. This consciousness is a gift. I'm more than just this flesh, and so are we all. Yeah, alright, a little bit more and I'm out of here. Thank you for being here. Thanks for hitting that like button. Yeah. Let me think. The more that I do, the less that I care what I've been through. It used to hold me back, now I wear it on my back like a backpack, ready to unpack, because life is great. All of these things that I've been through I wouldn't change, but I know that right now the more I say will change, because there's people in a different place that need my help. They need me to be me, they need me to be free. I need to be free so we could all see victory, but really it's not victory. There's no competition to me. It's all collective and unite is what I see when I dream at night. I've definitely had to be on the front line, but it's not gonna confine like a prison cell. I wish you well, and I wish you love, and I do this for you, and I do this for us. Be one for you too, till infinity. And anyone in my vicinity gets a high five and a hug, and maybe a freestyle if you got a beat. I like to beatbox. Yeah. Thanks for being here, y'all. I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna end it here. I only do really short lives, really, like, I try to do at least 30 minutes. That's my goal. If you guys got any suggestions or anything, let me know. Yeah, if I don't show up consistently either too, it's not that I don't like to be here. It's just like sometimes things, things pull me different directions here and there. So I just kind of go with the flow. But I appreciate you being here. Thank you for tuning in, and have a beautiful, blessed day. And remember that whatever you're going through, and all the adversity and challenges, they are building your character. Even if they feel like they're destroying you, they're not. They're growing you. Grow in them. Find some solace and find peace of mind knowing that even a seed has to be planted in the darkness and it still sprout up and grow, and it'll blossom. And I love flowers. I like to see our lives like that. I like to see our lives as a beautiful blossoming flower, like for everybody to see and to enjoy and to leave our mark and to be what wasn't seen from the outside. You see a seed and you couldn't tell that inside of the seed is going to be a flower or a tree. There's maybe some people know that, but like at first you see the seed and you don't think, oh yeah, that's gonna grow into an apple tree. Like we all are unique like that, and we all have something to grow. And I like to encourage people, because sometimes the challenges is actually the lesson to show you what kind of seed you are. It's a lesson to show that you know yourself and other people do not know you, and you know yourself enough to keep going. And other people might be like, dude, what do you think you're gonna be an apple tree? Bro, you're just this little tiny, you ain't nothing. And you can believe that if you like, but also you don't need to believe that. You can believe what you feel. If there was a little inkling to say, you know what, it would really light me up to feed some people. Maybe it's because in your future, you're gonna feed some people, and you know what's inside that seed, where other people cannot peer inside that seed. Even if you try to break open a seed, you're not gonna find a miniature apple tree. You're not gonna find a miniature flower. It's just gonna be the inside of the seed. It's something completely different than what comes out. So yeah, remember that your adversity and your challenges is just the dirt that surrounds the seed of you. And here, I'm gonna water you a little bit, shine some light on you some real quick, and I know the seed will do the rest. And God willing, thank you, God. I appreciate you for being here, and yes, I share love. Peace.